Hi, everybody. Welcome to Audubon's Baby Owl Shower. I'm Katie Warner, and I'm the director here at Audubon Center for Birds of Prey. We are so excited you're here to join us for our second virtual Baby Owl Shower event. Baby Owl Shower, our first one was held actually in the 1980s when we discovered one of our red-tailed hawks had the first baby here we named Uno. Today, we don't have any of our raptors here having babies. We don't have a breeding program, but we do have many babies under treatment. It's baby season here. I asked some of our staff, how do they feel about baby season? You'll probably get the same answer, total chaos. So welcome to the Center for Birds of Prey. We hope you have fun today and learn a lot about Audubon and what we do here during springtime. If this is your first time joining us, I wanted to share a little bit about what our center is about. Audubon Center for Birds of Prey is located in Maitland, Florida, and we specialize in raptors, so eagles, hawks, and owls. We have several programs based at our location. We have a baby raptor program that you'll learn a lot about today. We have clinic and rehabilitation for all types of raptors. We have conservation education, a community science program, and a youth leadership program. So Baby Owl Shower is a time we take to celebrate our craziest season for birds, and that is due to many of our raptors are breeding now in Florida, and you know, springtime is just a time to celebrate Mother's Day and many others that are having babies, such as mammals and other types. So we use this time to raise funds for our clinic. During baby season, our costs can triple just with food alone. So we use this to replenish our pantries, our clinic supplies, and really raise money. There's many ways you can get involved today, and we're asking you to take part. With your donations, we can continue to care for as much as 700 birds that arrive at our doors each year. During May alone, we can receive 20% of our whole annual patient load. That's over 100 birds in our clinic during May. So it's quite crazy. It requires many resources. We rely on volunteers and community supports to help our programs. You can check our chat on Zoom or on Facebook, and we'll be sharing the links of where you can donate. You can donate cash, and remember, each of our donations count. We are offering an incentive today for anybody who donates $100 or more. You will be entered to win a prize. Thank you to our many partners who has helped give us the prizes for today's event. We have tickets to SeaWorld, to Universal. We have a wine class at Total Wine and some gifts from Corksicle. So we encourage you to put your name in the hat. We also have an Amazon wish list, so please check that out. Remember, we use all types of supplies to help with baby birds here, from paper towels to clinic supplies, to rakes, to sheets, towels, cleaning supplies. So check that out also, and anything you give, we're greatly appreciate it. I want to take a minute today to thank our sponsors. This year we have OUC sponsoring Baby Owl Shower. We are lucky enough to have been working with OUC since 2017. We host an exhibit here that features the many ways that OUC is helping prevent injuries to raptors, and we want to thank them for sponsoring today's event. So let's remember why we're celebrating baby season. Our goal is to really reunite any babies that come to our clinic back with their families, and we do this in numerous ways. We have volunteer tree climbers that help us. We offer, if the nest has come down, we sometimes use platforms or provide a new nest. And the best situation for any injured wildlife is for their parents to raise them. So you'll learn a lot about the processes here that we do to get these birds back into the wild where they belong. So I hope you're tuning in from all over, and we thank you again. We want to hear from you. So if you have a chance, we would love to hear where you're viewing from. Drop a message in the chat. Share on Facebook, and you'll be entered for a small random chance drawing. So thank you. We hope you enjoy today, and let's meet our first baby.
Hello, everyone. My name is Laura Von Medius. I'm the education manager here at the Audubon Center, And as promised for our baby owl shower, we have babies to share for you. So this is our first baby we're going to see. It is a juvenile barred owl, and it was actually rescued in Kissimmee, which is not too far from here, county below us. And it was rescued in April 13th is when it actually got admitted to our center, but it was originally rescued and brought to another facility in town, Back to Nature. One of the great things of being able to have sort of a community of rehabbers here in the Central Florida area is we're able to help each other out. So even though he was brought to a different rehab facility, since we specialize in raptors, he ended up here with us for care. So at this point, you can see he's got quite a bit of fluff on his chest and his head, but his wings and his tail are starting to come in with his adult feathers. Now I am saying he, we don't know whether it's a male or female, so it's kind of just whatever gender we choose at that point to call this baby. It doesn't really matter to us. Now we have dubbed it, given a nickname of Lemon for now. It is a non-releasable baby because he does have scoliosis, pretty severe scoliosis, and that curvature of his spine is preventing him from using his wings fully. So he will never be able to go back to the wild. And because of that, he will be a permanent resident under human care. He will not stay here with us at our center. He will eventually go to a different center. We're finding him some home right now. But for now, he's with us and getting the care that he needs and growing up as he needs to before he gets moved to his permanent home, wherever that ends up being. Now, barred owls are the most common owls that we have in our area, and they usually have bars or stripes down their belly. But again, you can see he does still have his baby feathers, which are those white fluffy or kind of grayish fluffy ones that they don't have quite their bars yet. Some pretty characteristics that you would know that this is a baby barred owl is the black eyes. The other large owls in our area are going to have yellow eyes like the great horned owls. And the size, they're bigger than our screech owls or our burrowing owls that we have here in Central Florida. So that's how you can kind of determine that this is a baby barred owl. I'm actually gonna scoot up a touch more. Ooh, going for a ride, just so you guys can get a closer view of this little baby Lemon, hanging out with us for today for baby owl shower. Isn't he just adorable? Every year in the clinic, we get so excited for the first babies. And then by June, guys, we are over the babies, right? We've been working so hard and we're over it. And then it starts again next year. We get so excited for the new babies and then we're over it. So again, it is our busiest season and we are raising funds today here at Baby Owl Shower. We love your support. So feel free to drop by into our wish list or our donation tab to be able to help support us care for all of these babies like baby Lemon. Yes, Valerie put in the comments that she loves his face. Aren't they beautiful? All right, I think we're gonna throw it over now to actually see when baby Lemon grows up, what he is gonna end up looking like. So let's head over to Maggie and our friend Maple.
Hi everybody, good morning. My name is Maggie. I'm a volunteer here at Audubon Center for Birds of Prey, and this is Maple. Maple is one of our education ambassadors, and she is what Lemon will look like when Lemon grows up. Laura mentioned the beautiful striped or barred look on the feathers on the front of their bodies. And so this is when all the full feathers, all the fuzz goes away on the head and all her feathers come in. This is what Lemon will look like. Let's see if you can see her little feet and everything. There we go. So Maple is turning 3 years old this spring. She came to us as a baby right about now for baby season. And she had a broken leg. She had fallen out of the nest. She was small enough that she would fit in the palm of your hand, but the broken leg was concerning. Our vets took a look at it and decided to try a surgery to put a pin into her leg, see if we could get her that strength back so she'd be able to go back to the wild. And unfortunately, it had good results, but not enough for her to go back to the wild. So she's able to stand and perch and do just fine on the glove and on her perches. But in the wild, she would not be able to hunt and kill the prey that she needs to survive. So I think Laura mentioned the other most common ones that we have in our area, and the second largest of the large owls. Maple, we're over here. So they make the sound called "Who Cooks for You?" So it's a hoo 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 hoo. So look up an app and listen to that because I don't do it very well. but it's who cooks for you. And during nesting season, you'll actually hear two barred owls maybe calling back and forth to each other in their nesting area. We find them in the woodlands and parks and fields just about everywhere. They've even become very urban. So we do see them in our neighborhoods. I know there's one in our neighborhood. They will likely be fairly close to water. Most of the birds of prey are. And they like to nest in cavities. So broken trees or old dead trees, they'll find a cavity. They'll also use nest box. So you can actually put up a nest box for a barred owl in your yard and have some success with that too. They are what we call crepuscular. We find them most active at dawn and dusk. We see them a little bit in the daytime, but mostly they're going to be doing their hunting at dawn and dusk. Here they nest about January to March, so hopefully we're getting towards the end of barred owl babies, but then again, they don't have a calendar, so they can continue to come, for still another month or so. They like to hunt small mammals, small birds. They'll eat reptiles, mice, voles. They're wonderful for our ecosystem because they take away all the things that we need control of. Please don't use rodenticide. Please don't put out black boxes. That will only going to make the rat poison, and then the rat will still walk around with the poison in it, and the other birds of prey will eat it, and then they will die. So it's a very terrible way to go. So they mostly eat their food whole, and then the next day before they eat their next meal, they will cast out a pellet. Well, we're going to see her back. Let's see her beautiful back feathers then. So I know. So they're probably going to live about 10 to 15 at best years in the wild. Here at the center, with the great care that they get, we're able to add lots of years to that. We have another ambassador barred owl who is 35 years old this year. So I think that gives a great testament to what they do here at the center. Owls, we know, have very specialized eyes. They are actually straight, like looking through tubes. If you held up a paper towel roll and looked through, that's what owls can see. So to adapt to that, they have this movable neck that lots of people think spins all the way around, but it doesn't. They can turn their head though 270 degrees. That's 3/4 of a pie. And with the 14 vertebrae they have that allows it to do that, as humans, we have 7. So they have twice as many vertebrae as we do that allows them for that movement. They also hunt by hearing. So the beautiful shapes on her, around her eyes, the feathering there, that helps to bring sound in so that she can zero in on prey. And they have also ears, which we never see. They are actually right behind their eyes. Yeah, kind of right behind their eyes, but under all these feathers. Their talons are their main weapon, their tool. Very important for birds of prey to have 2 good feet, 2 strong talons as well. They're going to mate for life when they find a mate. They're going to stay probably in a general territory, and they don't really hang out together off season, but when nesting season comes around, they find each other. The males and the females find each other. And that's the other thing to mention. Maple. There you go. Oh, I have a friend making owl sounds for me. The females are always going to be a little bit larger. So if you see 2 owls together, try to take note of that. And they're a little bit larger. Can you guess why? Because they have to carry the eggs, obviously. So female raptors are generally always 25 to 30% larger. So I think that's about everything. How are we doing on time, Dawn?
I think we're doing pretty good there, Maggie.
Okay.
Should send it back over to Katie.
Sure.
Thank you, Maggie, and thank you, Maple. And isn't baby Lemon so cute? So again, welcome to Baby Owl Shower at the Center for Birds of Prey. We're glad you're joining us this morning. There are some other owls that you'll be able to meet today. In Florida, we have 5 different species of owls. We have barred owls, eastern screech owls, burrowing owls, great horned owls, and barn owls. So we hope to be able to share with you some of the other species that we have here at the center. And just to let you know, we are raising money today to support owls and the other species that we treat here at Audubon Center for Birds of Prey during baby season. Check out the chat, the links on the ways to donate. And remember, if you donate over $100 during this event, we will enter you to win one of 5 prizes from some of our partners in the local Orlando area. Last year in total, we treated over 150 owls. 76 of them were babies. So we see a lot of owls that come through our center, and owls are one of our most popular species that we hear about from our guests and visitors. So we work to get them reunited with their families and back in the wild. Remember, any of the species that you see today are some of our non-releasable education ambassadors here at the Center for Birds of Prey. We have different species of education ambassadors, and you'll get to meet some of those as well. So let's announce our first winners. We're so excited that people are watching from all over the country today. I saw some messages from Maine, from Jacksonville, Florida, from Palmetto, Florida, from Orlando, Florida. So we're excited you're joining us. The winner on Facebook is Nancy Wade. Thank you, Nancy, for tuning in this morning. And the winner on Zoom is Valerie. So you all should be getting a message on how to send us your address, and we will be sending you a prize. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's see what's next. Remember, the best thing you can do is reunite with the families. But if that's not possible, sometimes we use different processes here at the center so that our babies are with adults. So that can include fostering, and we have other measures that we can take. So let's take a look at some of our other scenarios here at the Center for Birds of Prey.
Hi, I'm Samantha. I'm the vet tech here at the Audubon Center for Birds of Prey. One of the best things that we do for our babies that we get in is to try and get them back into the nest whenever possible, since it's better for the birds to always be raised with their parents. But the second best thing is to try and get them in with foster parents. We have a fun joke here at the center that raptors can't count. So if we can put a baby back up into the nest and add a second one or a third one, the parents keep feeding it just as long as there's somebody asking for food. This comes in very handy when we have orphan babies that can't go back to their nest, and we can get them in with a species of their own. So whether that's a wild nest or a foster nest. Sometimes we use our own residents here at the center as foster parents. So when some of our residents show parental instincts like building nests, laying eggs, or showing signs of being a good parent, we might consider them a foster parent. So after our barred owls, Phil and Hitch, started showing signs this year, nesting in their nest box, that we decided to try putting some baby barred owls with them. Our 2 girls took to it so well. Their parenting dream, they are very protective of their nest, taking care of the babies every single day, and helping to feed them so that we didn't have to interact with the babies. Soon after, we got another barred owl in, and we were able to put that barred owl in with the first one. So we've got now 2 babies in with Phil and Hitch, and they raised both of them. After those 2 were actually released, then we actually were able to get 2 more babies that were siblings in with Phil and Hitch. So they've actually raised 4 so far this year. So once our baby barred owls that are out with our foster parents get to a certain age, we do move them to our flight enclosure. And right now, our latest 2 are just moved out to a flight enclosure, and they're getting conditioned for release, which means that they get to get live prey tested, they get to fly around in a big enclosure and maneuver so that we know that they have all the skills ready for release. So one of the great things about having Phil and Hitch is that we didn't have to raise them. They didn't have the potential of being in close contact with people while they were growing up. So we can't thank Phil and Hitch enough for all of the hard work they put in this year.
When people visit our center, a question we often get is, where do the birds in the garden go at nighttime? They spend their days in the weathering yard, but around the corner of the clinic, there is a wooden building where these birds spend the rest of their day. Then, every morning, before the center opens to the public, the birds have to be brought from their enclosures to the weathering yard in the bird garden. It's a behind-the-scenes area that only staff can go. But let's take a look as Kristen gets Trouble out for the day. First, she'll grab a glove that's big enough for an eagle. Then she'll grab a leash. Then it's just a short walk to the Education Muse to be able to get the birds. From his sign, she grabs his swivel and then enters into the enclosure. Good morning, Trouble! Around his ankles, you'll see anklets and leather straps called jesses. The swivel goes through a hole in the jesses, so we can attach him to the leash. The swivel, like its name suggests, can actually rotate all the way around, so there's no way for him to get tangled up. Trouble's an old pro at 35 years old, so he steps up on her glove when she asks. And off they go. Out of the Education Muse, down the pathway, and all the way to the bird garden. When they get to his perch in the bird garden, then off comes the leash, on goes his tether, and then he's free to hop to his perch. At the end of the day, the whole process is reversed to bring the birds back home. Trouble's a big fan of being in the garden every day. Being out in the sun, especially when it rains, are some of his favorite things.
This is Ufta, a black vulture and lovable resident at the center. About 21 years ago, Ufta was rescued by a different rehabber who kept her as an education bird when she was deemed non-releasable. In 2010, Ufta was transferred to our center, which has been her home for the last 11 years. In her time here, Ufta hasn't laid any eggs. Hormones, body condition, location, weather, and presence of a mate are all things that can help determine if a female bird will lay eggs. This year, however, we noticed a few weeks ago that Ufta wasn't eating as much as normal and was spending more time inside her favorite hide. The next day, when staff checked on her, they found an egg. A couple days later, there was a second one. Black vultures in the wild commonly lay eggs on the ground. Using a thicket for cover, they will also use caves, hollowed-out trees, and even abandoned buildings. They almost always lay 2 eggs in their clutch for the season. As you can imagine, Ufta was very protective of her eggs. So like all our birds, we allowed her to incubate and care for the eggs, even though they are not viable. Doesn't she look so proud? After a few days, Ufta lost interest in them and went back to her usual spunky self. We hope her egg laying continues next year.
Oh, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing about some of the activities that are going on here at the Center for Birds of Prey during spring season. Again, we don't raise any babies that our center because none of the eggs are ever viable, but we have babies that come in from all over the state, primarily in the Central Florida area, that need help. How do these birds arrive to us? Many people ask. Injured birds of prey come to us from a variety of reasons, a lot from concerned citizens like you. Someone may have found a baby that fell out of a nest, or they noticed that a nest was blown out of a tree, and so they can get the babies to us. We see many adults that come in with a lot more severe injuries, including being hit by vehicles, being admitted for electrocutions, sometimes gunshot wounds, poisons, a variety of reasons, and then some are even unknown. So again, we work to stabilize them, treat them in the clinic, and then with the goal of getting them down in the rehabilitation areas for release back into the wild. Right now, we have 53 babies at our site. So some are still in the clinic being treated, and some are actually in nurseries that we've set up in our rehabilitation areas. So we're trying to prepare them for life back in the wild. And as you heard on some of the videos, we do some live prey feeding for these young birds so that they can learn and hunt and have the skills to survive on their own. So now we're getting ready to take a behind the scenes peek into our Raptor Trauma Clinic to actually see some babies and being fed. So again, we're very quiet when we go in the clinic, and we use many preventative measures to be able to not let babies be associated with people. So this includes using different techniques called camo. We use bird calls. So let's take a look right now. If you can see, Beth, one of our raptor specialists, is going to feed this basket of baby screech owls. Why is she dressed like that? So we try to prevent any association with humans by wearing camouflage. And with her is actually an adult screech owl, Sanford. So they can associate having an adult of their species while they are getting fed their food. So what are we feeding these babies? As you can see, we have teeny tiny little pieces of meat, and we need to make it soft so it's able to be digestible and easy to digest and let them grow. If you have some questions about what's going on, just drop them in the chat and I'll answer some questions in just a few minutes. So how old are these babies is one of the questions you might have. These guys are about 3 to 4 weeks old. Again, screech owls are the smallest owls that we treat at the Center for Birds of Prey and the smallest owls that you'll find in Florida. So when these guys are babies, they're so teeny tiny. Their eggs are just the size of like little dollar coins. And then they go quickly and they'll be the size of Sanford when they're adults. Do screech owls eat insects? Great question. Yes, screech owls eat insects. When they're adults, some of their favorite foods are roaches. Ew! So it's great if you have eastern screech owls that are near you and maybe taking care of some of the unwanted insects that are around. They will eat small lizards. They will eat frogs. They will also eat small rodents. But again, these babies, we have teeny tiny pieces of meat that we're feeding them that we cut up in the clinic. These guys are about 3 to 4 weeks old, and they arrived, I believe, just last week. Some of the other questions are how many times we have to actually feed babies in a day. Depending on the age, they can be fed up to 3 to 4 times daily. So we feed all the patients at the center, we clean it up, we do it all again. Where do these guys nest? Screech owls nest in cavities in some of our largest oak trees that you'll find in Florida. You can also have a nest box that you can hang up and provide habitat for the screech owls. So screech owls are one of the most common babies that we received for treatment during spring season. And we can receive sometimes over 30 during the season, but these two are super cute. One of the things that you can do to help screech owls in your yard is to provide habitat. If you have the appropriate habitat, you can hang a nest box and make sure that you don't trim trees during spring. We do a lot of education and ask people to wait till after nesting season before you trim your trees. Not only would screech owls be using your cavities for nesting, but many other species. It's spring season for squirrels, a lot of our songbirds, and we try to ask them to wait till summer. Do you need an owl puppet to feed them? That's a great question. We do use puppets at our facility, but since we had Sanford, an actual adult next to those babies, we didn't use a puppet at that time. But some of our other species, we do use puppets. Again, we use calls from parents on our apps or our phones to mimic the noises that they would hear in the wild. We use camouflage to prevent imprinting. Imprinting, we haven't talked about too much, but imprinting is when the young birds associate first with their parents. And so we want them to not be imprinted on humans or other noises that they might hear in our busy raptor trauma clinic. So we try hard to make sure that they're in a natural setting. If a bird imprints on a human by mistake, then they are not safe to go back into the wild because they would associate humans with food. And so that could be a danger to that species and to humans. So thank you for your questions. Keep them coming and we'll try to answer them throughout our event. Again, we're raising money for baby owl showers. So we really appreciate everyone who's given a gift today. And just check your chats or on Facebook. We've shared the links to our baby owl shower donate page, as well as we have an Amazon wish list. We appreciate and accept all types of in-kind donations to help support the busy clinic during season. So I wanted to share a few other things about what we've been doing here. Some of our favorite babies that we get to see each year are baby eagles. So if you've seen a baby eagle, you might not even recognize that it's an eagle. It's huge. It's a very large baby, and they're actually dark when baby eagles are younger. So they have a black beak. They're all black feathers from head to tail, and they're quite large. Within about 8 weeks, they can be as big as their parents. Since January, we've admitted 12 baby eaglets. That's an unusually high number compared to other years. And if any of you follow us on social media, you might have seen just 2 weeks ago, our clinic had 13 baby eagles at one time. Now that is very unusual and very chaotic. To treat and feed just one baby eagle, it requires 2 people, one to hold the baby, one to feed. Housing is challenging because we only have a certain number of these large kennels that we can put baby eagles in. So we had to reorganize some of the spacing in our clinic. And food, oh my gosh, they eat a ton of food. And remember, these guys are young, so they have to eat multiple times daily. So it was crazy. We worked to return them back into the wild. I think that we just had an eagle release with 2 of our young birds last week. We have some in our flight structures down below in our rehab areas. And so it's been quite unusual. These guys like to eat fish. If you'll notice that the baby screech owls had teeny tiny cut up piece of meat. So baby eagles will also do that, and some of our baby fish. So remember, these guys require many resources, and we're asking for your support to help us during baby season. Let's take a look at one of our favorite friends, adult bald eagle, and we'll go over to Robert in Trouble.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Robert. I'm a longtime volunteer here at the Center for Birds of Prey. And welcome to Baby Owl Shower, our eagle portion. Today I'm going to talk about bald eagles, and specifically this handsome young fellow here. He's not too young. He's 35 years old, which is a little bit early middle age. Bald eagles in captivity can live up to 50. So hopefully Trouble's got a long ways to go. Trouble came to the center back in 1986. Someone had spotted him in his nest out in the Tosahatchee Preserve here out in East Orange County. And they noticed he has a scissor beak, which is the upper beak is crossed over his lower beak. And so the decision was to be made to remove him from the nest and try to surgically repair him so he could be released back into the wild. In those days, there's not nearly as many bald eagles as there is today, so it was a huge decision to do that. So he went through a couple of surgeries and had his wires in his jaws shut, had to tube feed him. And through all those processes, he got the name Trouble. So he's sort of lived up to that name. He can be quite the bald eagle when he wants to be, being a beautiful boy today. So a bit about the beak is, the beak covering is just like your fingernails. They're made out of keratin, continually grow. Same with the talons. In the wild, through their natural processes, they keep them nice, honed down and sharp. You'll see them sharpen their beaks up on a limb after eating. The problem with Trouble was his beak would keep growing out. He would not be able to hone that beak down. So eventually it would get to where he could not rip and tear his food. They catch their food primarily with their feet, but they've got that strong, curved, sharp beak to rip and tear their food. So here at the center, they have to grab him up periodically 3 or 4 times a year, and they shape that beak up for him with a Dremel tool. And that way he can rip and tear his food very nicely. So a bit about bald eagles in general. It takes them 5 years to get the white head and white tail. Their first year, they're basically dark all over, almost black beak, brown eyes. So each year they start getting more white into them, mottled the second year. So we can gauge their age up to the 5-year point, and then we only know they're mature bald eagles. So generally in raptors, the males are smaller than females. Treble is about a 7-pound male. That's a good weight for Florida eagles. Florida eagles tend to be smaller than northern eagles. Everybody tells me that. So Paige, our girl here, she weighs 10 pounds. So it's about a 25% difference in the eagles. So eagles now are doing very well. There's probably 1,800 or more nesting in Florida. This is the end of nesting season. It runs from October through May. So the eagles are winding down. Most eagles have fledged the nest out there. We still have a few babies that's not flying yet. They've already talked about how many babies we have at the center here. It's a very unusual year, but that's because there's a lot of nests out there and a lot more going on for the eagles. So good for the eagles. They removed from the Endangered Species Act in 2007. They're still threatened and protected by the Gold and Bald Eagle Act of 1962. So they still have the great protection, which is what's helped their numbers rebound greatly. So they are classified as fish eagles. So in the wild, most of their diet is fish. Here at the center, they get a variety of things to eat. Nobody gets any live prey. They get fish, and for the eagles, and chicken and rats, they love those things. Most raptors prey on things that we consider vermin. So rats and things like that would be natural prey in the wild. They are omnivores, which means they take a variety of foods. If they can catch it and eat it, then they will. Yeah, so Treble's being a very good boy today. And that's about it.
All right, we're gonna go back to you, Katie.
Actually,
So
come
Laura.
to me. Hello, everyone. My name is Laura Von Medius, and I am the education manager here at the center. And we are about to play some trivia. So what you guys are going to do, let me share my screen for one so we can get our trivia questions up to everybody. There we go. Okay, so how this is going to work, everyone, is I have a few questions for you guys about baby birds matching with their adults or their nest type. And what you're going to do to answer, first of all, if you're playing on Facebook, better with sound. So feel free to put up your sound, turn up your volume so you can hear us. And then what's going to happen is I will put the questions up, and there will be options. If you're on Facebook, you're going to vote for your favorite answer, your answer you're choosing, using the emojis. And if you're playing on Zoom, then in the comment section, the chat section, you can type the letters A, B, or C for those answers. So let's go ahead and give it a try. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and type some emojis. If you're on Zoom, go ahead and type A, B, or C in the chat. And we'll make sure everybody's with us here so we can play our trivia game. Okay, great. Everybody seems totally with us here. Perfect. All right. The good also news is, like most people, I'm sure, I love prizes. You guys can win prizes as well. We're going to do a chance drawing for anybody who participates in the trivia. So again, type in the chat for our Zoom, use the reaction, the emojis for Facebook. So you can get entered into our chance drawing for our trivia players. All right, y'all ready to get started? Let's go. What species of raptor, I should be specific, we are only the Bird of Prey Center, so of raptor would use this nest? Your choices are A for burrowing owl, B for black vulture, C for kestrel. And then of course, use those corresponding emojis on Facebook. I'm seeing some thumbs up. I'm seeing A's everywhere. We did start kind of easy here, folks. And you guys are correct. It is from a burrowing owl. Burrowing owls, like their name suggests, they do use burrows underground. They will dig the burrow if they have to, But here in Central Florida, they will often just use, or in South Florida, I should be specific, they will use burrows dug by like our gopher tortoises. And out west, they'll use prairie dog burrows that are left over for them. They are super cute and adorable when they are babies as well. You gotta love that. All right, moving on to our questions. Again, that was easy. We'll get a little harder here. What species is this baby raptor? We got barn owl, eastern screech owl, or a barn owl. And this is a very tiny little nestling. So let's see if you guys might know the answer to this one. Check in my chat here. Where are we at? Okay, we're getting a mix here on our emojis and in our chats. I'm seeing some barn owls. I'm seeing some barn owls. We're not so sure. Okay, some people are coming in with the right answer now. It is, in fact, an eastern screech owl. That little thing, you can see in the hand how tiny that baby is. So they start cotton ball size, and then they do grow up to be about 6 inches or so tall when they're fully grown. Some things you can notice that it is a screech owl is, one, it's gonna have those feathers onto its feet. That's pretty characteristic of most owls. And then as it ages into that fledgling stage, it's gonna start getting those little ear tufts up top, then end up being those screech owl. All right, next question. What species would use this nest? This is actually through a scope, so it's quite far away, but you guys could probably figure this one out. We got a bald eagle, a great horned owl, or a turkey vulture. I'm seeing lots of A's in our Zoom chat. I'm seeing, let's see, Facebook is giving me some thumbs up. Yeah, this one's pretty easy. Out of those choices, you guys are getting this one correct. It is, this photo is actually a bald eagle's nest. However, this was a bit of a trick question because great horned owls they don't really build their own nests. They tend to just steal nests from other things, and they will often steal eagles' nests. They will sort of bully the bald eagles out at night. It's because the great horned owls have better eyesight, of course, and they're stronger, so they'll bully out the bald eagles and steal their nest. So if you gave a heart or letter B as well, that also counts. I will give you credit for that because that was also a correct answer. All right. What species is this baby alien? I mean, raptor. This, in my opinion, is a hideous little baby, sort of so ugly it's cute, but also just really ugly. And it will grow up to be one of these things, either a barred owl, a barn owl, or the great horned owl. So again, let's see in the chat, we've got lots of C's. We're getting some B's in our Zoom chat, and then on Facebook, I'm seeing lots of wow faces and some thumbs up. We are pretty well spread on this one. This one always shocks me because from such a hideous baby, it grows up to be a barn owl, which I think most of us would agree is one of the prettiest owls. Look how gorgeous they end up being, even though they start off a little rough there. So yes, the barn owl was the correct answer. Some things to know that it was a barn owl as they grow, that the shape of the beak is pretty unique for the barn owls, and ending up that heart-shaped face starts to show up as they're a fledgling, and then you can fairly easily see it's going to end up being a barn owl. All right, what species would use this nest? So you got a picture of a hole in a tree. It is either an eastern screech owl, a bald eagle, or a swallow-tailed kite. So I may have sort of given this one away already. That's not a bald eagle since we already saw a bald eagle's nest. But then you've got either a screech owl or a kite. Let's see what we've got answers. Oh yeah, we got lots of A's, lots of thumbs up. This was another fairly easy one, I guess. You guys are definitely correct. It is an eastern screech owl. They are cavity nesters. So they do find holes in trees that they will use for their nesting. Again, they don't really build those holes themselves, but they will take it over if it's a natural tree cavity or made from a different animal that is theirs. And for us, they will also take to a man-made nesting box. So a great way to help screech owls in your neighborhood is to put a box up if you know that they're there, give them a safe place to nest. And it also helps us if we get rescued babies in and we know the nest tree was destroyed, we can hang one of these boxes up in a nearby tree and then return the babies to that nest box. And the adults will hopefully then still come back and care for it. So it makes our lives a little bit easy to be able to re-nest them using these man-made boxes. All right, next question. What species is this baby raptor? You have your choice of barred owl, bald eagle, and swallow-tailed kite. Let's see, getting lots of B's. Okay, lots of people so far think it's a bald eagle. I'm seeing some hearts here on Facebook. Yeah, I may have stumped you all on this one. If I tell you it's not B, anybody want to change their answer now? Let's see if that did anybody in. Okay, now some people are switching. I'm seeing some C's come in and some wow faces. Yes, everyone, this is a swallow-tailed kite. They are super cute as babies, in my opinion. And you can see some things that you can notice. They do start with that fully black beak when they are young. And then as they get older, they get that and they get in their adult feathers. They're going to have that V-shaped or swallow tail and a bit of a, we like to think of them as toasted marshmallows. They have a bit of tan on their chest and their head before becoming that full adult coloration. All right, a couple more questions here, guys. What species is this baby raptor? It is either a bald eagle, a red-shouldered hawk, or a burrowing owl. Let's see what we've got coming in here. Okay, I'm seeing lots of things going on here. Lots of letters. Oh, and then some B's. Okay, we got lots of B's coming in on Facebook, tons of hearts. Okay, this one might have been an easy one at this point. You guys are all correct. It is a red-shouldered hawk. You could see there in the photo how it has the yellow cere or the top of the beak, the bright yellow feet that don't have any feathers on it, and then as it ages, how beautiful they become as those red-shouldered hawks. All right, what species would use this nest? An osprey, a barn owl, or C for vulture? Let's see what you all think of this one. Okay, I'm seeing some vultures come in here on Zoom, and then some osprey guesses, some C's and A's. Lots of thumbs up here on Facebook. Yes, it is in fact an osprey nest, and you can see that it is a man-made platform, that disc that was put up to help the ospreys have safe places to nest. They will use all sorts of structures. They do like to be fairly high, so they have a good lookout and have lots of room nearby. They're kind of clumsy when they land and take off. They're big, goofy birds anyways, so they need a lot of open space so they're not getting tangled in branches and things as they're landing and taking off. So that would be perfect for an osprey nest for them to be able to use. All right, we're down to, I think, our last question here. This is my reminder. If you have yet to participate in our trivia, now is your chance to either use the chat if you're in Zoom, an emoji on Facebook, so you can be entered in that chance drawing for participating in our trivia. All right, everyone, what species is this baby raptor? It is one of my favorites. It is either a bald eagle, a red-tailed hawk, or a black vulture. Go ahead and take your guess here. Type in the chat or an emoji on Facebook. Let's see what we're getting. Lots of C's. Yes, lots of C's coming in. Lots of wow faces. This one is kind of easy. They look a little bit like they do as an adult, even as a baby that's so fluffy. It is, in fact, a black vulture. And you can see pretty easy off. It already has that long black beak. It does have feathers on its head as a baby, and then those feathers recede as they age. But you can see they do get that bald head fairly quickly as they grow into their adult form. So yes, baby vultures, so cute. All right, everyone, that was our last question. So hopefully you participated so you could enter into our drawing. We will announce the chance drawing of the trivia participants in just a few minutes. Again, this is our fundraiser. That it is our busiest time of year when we take care of the most birds during baby bird season. So your contribution really makes a difference. Please help us out by sending donations and some supplies that we need and spreading the word about our center. That also helps. All right, we are headed back to see some more bird friends. Thank you everyone for participating in trivia.
Hi, everybody. I am back with another bird friend, and you actually saw him just a few minutes ago while Beth was feeding the baby screech owls. This is Sanford. Sanford is a guest favorite here, and He is an eastern screech owl of the red morph, you would call him. Screech owls come in 3 colors, so to speak, kind of a red color like he is, a grayish color, and then also a brownish gray kind of color as well too. So Sanford actually has had a birthday. He's going to talk to you, and he's got a friend here, and we're hoping they'll chat together for you all today too. Sanford just had a birthday. He just turned 10 years old, and we're really excited about that. Of course, again, in captivity, we can add so much more to their years to be with us as well. Sanford came to us as a baby, fallen out of the nest, about the size of a cotton ball, not very big at all. And he had a broken wing, which unfortunately we could not get set to a place where he would be able to be released back into the wild. So he became one of our ambassadors. If you follow him on Facebook, Sanford the Eastern Screech Owl, you will see yesterday Beth posted a picture of his baby picture at his first owl shower that he attended when he was with us as well. So look up that on Facebook, Sanford the Eastern Screech Owl. He also has his own Instagram account too, Sanford of Seabop. So you've heard lots of tips and info about screech owls already today. You saw the babies, how they turn from those adorable little fuzzy heads to this size. I know Katie mentioned that they love cockroaches. It has to be one of my favorite things about him as well. But they really have become an important part of our center. Yeah. So this past season, you're going to see Sanford's friend in just a minute. This past season, after all these years here, seeing lots of babies come and go, Sanford took an interest in helping with the babies, kind of a foster dad scenario, if you will. He hung out when they were being fed. He kind of liked to preen them, and in a turn, then they started to learn how to preen back. Today, he plays with his friend, and we give them both a little morsel. They kind of like, Beth said, they kind of like cheers. They bump tidbits. If they each have a chick leg, they'll kind of like come up to each other and show each other what they have to eat as well. So I hope you'll come by the center and see Sanford. He has a place of honor in the front window of our clinic building, and he comes out often to greet folks as well too. So I'm going to step over and let you meet Sanford's friend.
Hi, everyone. You've been hearing her in the background. This is Billy. She is also an Eastern Screech Owl, just like Sanford, and they're good buddies. She was from last year's babies. She came in fallen from the nest and had really bad eye infections. So they were able to save one eye, but one eye had to be removed because of damage to the eye itself. She may have had some muscle injury on the left side. She has ears, like Sanford does, ear tufts that are not really related to the ears, but she can't raise the one on the left side of her head. So she's a brown face, talked about color morphs. Red is more dominant here in Central Florida, but it can be red, brown, and a gray in the same clutch. So one of her favorite treats coming up. Super mealworms, they love those. So she's going to kind of savor hers for a bit. So it's been a lot said about screech owls. So I'd just like to invite you to come and see all of these guys here at the Center for Birds of Prey. We might be able to get them to bump, I don't know. She's trying to take both of them. So they're quite the buddies now. They like to hang out together. They get to hang out in the clinic some mornings. So I guess we'll turn it back to Laura now.
Thank you, Robert and Maggie and Billy and Sanford. Billy's full name is Billy Owlish, after the singer. You might recognize the singer-songwriter. So we've been keeping track of all the questions that have been happening during our baby owl shower today. We are almost done. We're down to our last couple minutes. So I just wanted to make sure we answered any of those questions that we have missed. And what I saw was a question about owls and how long it takes them to be returned back to the wild. This came in when we were feeding those baby screech owls. So for a screech owl, they fledge out in about 4-ish weeks. And obviously before they go back to the wild, we are looking for those babies to have full flight feathers and be able to fly and catch live prey. So once they kind of have those things down, they're showing us that they're ready and strong enough with their flight, then we'll put them back into the wild where they belong. So that can take, of course, different time depending on those babies. Let's see, do screech owls eat insects? Actually, Maggie and Robert just answered that. You obviously saw that they were eating those mealworms, and Maggie mentioned that they love to eat cockroaches. So yes, they definitely eat insects. And then a question, when we showed the photo of the screech owl in the man-made box, there's plans for those boxes on our website, and you can find them in other places. You can buy those screech owl boxes. The good news, actually, they double as a screech owl box as well as an American kestrel will use that same box. So you can buy one box and see what species you get, or what, depending on what you have in your area. And the question was, do they need those little step ladder in the front? They do not. The photo did show that. When our screech owl boxes, we do not use that. But we do use a little perch right inside the hole that allows them to be able to perch there and look out and feed their babies easier. All right, let's see. We also had a question come in from Valerie on Zoom. Do the great horned owls that take over the eagles' nests, are they pushing out the adults or the babies? Both, Valerie. Their nesting season does sometimes overlap with the eagles nesting and then the great horned owls coming in. In a perfect world, the eagles would nest first, then our owls, but they do sometimes overlap. And that does mean the great horned owl could be pushing out the adult eagles as well as any babies. Sometimes it will find a meal out of those baby eagles. So they're pretty opportunistic. If it's food, they're going to eat it. So that is an easy way to get a nest and maybe even a meal out of it. So we love those great horned owls. Either way, they are trying to survive and doing what they need to do. We are about to finish up our baby owl shower. I'm going to turn it back here to Katie in a second. We just had a question about the great horned owls. We do have great horned owls here at the center. Please come and visit them. We are not going to have one to show you right here during our call, but feel free to check out our Facebook page. We always are posting photos and videos of all of our birds. All right, Katie, I'm going to turn it. Oh, actually, last before I do, back to Katie, I need to announce the winners from the trivia. I almost forgot. So for our 2 winners from our trivia, we have Patricia Ashford from our Zoom, and on Facebook, it's Kathy Abbott. So you should receive a message with details on how to get us your address. If you don't, feel free to reach out to us here at the center, Patricia Ashford and Kathy Abbott. Thank you for playing, and I'm going to head back to Katie to finish up our baby owl shower.
Hi guys, I hope you had so much fun today. And again, thank you for tuning in to our second virtual event. We've been hosting virtual events all year long, and we are open though. So I invite you to come visit the Center for Birds of Prey. You just need to go to our website and pre-purchase a ticket. It has all the information how to secure a time slot, and we hope to see you here soon. So we'll be offering events like this and others throughout the summer. So if you're around, come visit us. So today, I hope you learned a lot about not only baby owls, but baby season here at the Center for Birds of Prey. We're not over yet. May is our busiest month, but it extends through June and July here at the Center for Birds of Prey. So again, thank you for all of you who have donated. We are asking for donations during this busy time. So we ask for in-kind gifts. So you can check out our wish list, as well as we have opportunities to give in-kind gifts through Amazon. And both of those links were dropped in the chat and shared on Facebook today, as well as cash donations. We love if people send us gift cards, but any donations through our website will be put directly towards our Raptor Care programs. So I wanted to thank our sponsors today, OUC, for sponsoring Baby Owl Shower. They're wonderful partners, and we appreciate their support to the Center for Birds of Prey. Especially want to thank our community of donors, so all of our foundations, individuals, and corporations that support our work. So I do have more winners to announce. As you heard from the beginning of our event today, anyone who gave this week or today during our event $100 or more were entered in for a special prize. So these were donations from some of our partners in the community, such as SeaWorld, Universal, Total Wine, and Corkcicle. So I will announce those winners and you will receive a separate email regarding your gifts. We have $100 gift winners. We have Andrea Eisenberg, Kathy Sayre, Margaret Smith, Iva Bridwell, and Brad White. So again, our 5 winners today are Andrea Eisenberg, Kathy Sayre, Margaret Smith, Iva Bridwell, and Brad White. Thank you for your generosity, and you will be receiving a specific email from one of our staff members at Audubon on how you will receive your gift. So we appreciate that, and we hope you enjoy the prizes. Again, we invite you to come visit us. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for Laura, Maggie, Robert, Don, all of our team, Sean Lee, Erica, everybody who facilitated to help today's event. And we just hope to see you back here soon. Bye for now.